Hello everyone, I'm CivicBot and it's CivicBot Sunday. Today, I'll be reviewing my custom Star Trek Miranda class variant, the USS Manitoba. The Manitoba is based on the refit Miranda-class starship, which has a length of 243 meters, a beam of 150 meters, a height of 63 meters, has 18 decks, and weighs 655,000 metric tons. This class is armed with 6 Type 7 phaser banks and 2 photon torpedo tubes with 150 torpedoes. The class has a normal cruise speed of warp 5, a maximum cruise speed of warp 6, and a maximum speed of warp 9.2 it can sustain for 12 hours. If you need more information, please check out Daystrom Institute Technical Library or ditl.org. There are tons of info you can look up on just about anything Star Trek. In my Star Trek storyline, the Manitoba is an upgraded variant of the Miranda class. Along with her sister ship, the USS Montauk, and others, they've received considerable upgrades to their armament, hull armor, shields, and power output. The new phaser banks used are the same type as the Excelsior class. Although not as powerful as the ones used on the Excelsiors, these phaser banks put out twice the power the old phaser banks did. In addition, 4 rapid phaser pulse cannons, borrowed from the Defiant class, were also installed to complement the 18 already more powerful Type 8 phaser banks. The new weapons pod and support pylon is a departure from the original used on the Mirandas. It houses the phaser pulse cannons and all 150 torpedoes. The hull armor has been strengthened by adding ablative armor on many sections of the ship, as was the shield strength increased for all-around better defensive capabilities, so this variant can stay in the fight longer. Finally, the power output was increased by installing a more powerful warp core, which increased the maximum warp speed slightly from 9.2 to 9.375 for 12 hours. New, larger, and more powerful impulse engines replaced the smaller impulse engines originally located between the space hangars, allowing this class to keep pace with the Defiant class in close combat against larger enemy vessels. Other things such as sensors, computer processing, and structural issues were all upgraded accordingly to match the rest of the ships in Starfleet. I wanted to do this because I think the Miranda class is a wonderful design which had all the fire powers of the Constitution class and a more compact ship. But seeing how 2 ships of this class, the USS SeaTac and Majestic, were easily destroyed during the retaking of Deep Space Nine, made me think Starfleet kept this class in service for so long, they should have done some upgrades on them. Building the model. I started out with AMT's USS Reliant model in 1/537 scale size. It's kind of an odd scale, but hey, it works with this model. I personally like this size because it's obviously larger and more details can be added, as you can see here. The first step was to cut out a portion of the starboard and port side edge of the aft section for adding the larger impulse drive engines. All of the styrene plastic used was from Evergreen scale models. Thanks again, Evergreen. Afterwards, I used the pylons and nacelles from the runabout model because I wanted more details, which the pylons displayed, and the nacelles, just like on the Sabretooth model, looked like they were encased in armor. Next step was building the support pylon. This took some time and quite a bit of patience. I didn't draw it out first or anything like that, I just made it from what I saw in my mind. The only thing I did was make certain I took measurements. After completing the basic layout of the support pylon, I used the center pod from the runabout model instead of the original weapons pod because I felt like this pod definitely has more detail and it looked like it just belonged on the ship. Some of you may like it and some of you may not, and that's okay. After gluing the center pod, I added little details using pieces of styrene plastic and parts from the runabout model. I may cut out some plastic to cover the top of the center pod to give it a cleaner look. I don't know yet, we'll see. Next step was gluing the center pod assembly on top of the impulse drive engines. Here you can see the completed model. The pylons are definitely beefier than the original pylons and give the ship a much wider beam. You can see the new impulse drive engines, which I cut a piece of clear plastic and spray painted the backside red before gluing them in. After I finished, I wanted to add Aztec decals but lost interest and stored the model in a box for a few years. Then, Kid Civic and I started this channel, and all of a sudden, I started getting interested in finishing my Star Trek models. But after taking it out of the box, both pylons fell off after being crushed by other models on top of it, and now this is what it looks like. That's okay because I'm going back to the original pylons and nacelles to give the model a more original look. All of this will be seen in part 2, which will also include the decals needed to finish this model. Thanks again for watching, and if you like this video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, I'm CivicBot, and see you soon.
Civicbotdomain.